welcome to Current Affairs for Beginners. This is a question from my yesterday's video. The Hindu Kush Himalayan region covers across which of the following countries? Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Myanmar, India, Nepal. The answer here is D. It covers all these countries. Now let's start today's session. Our first article is Bullet Train Gets Green Light via Flamingo Haven National Park. This article comes under GS Paper 3 under the topic of infrastructure. And the subtopic here is railways. From the prelims point of view, what we need to know from this article is what are the key features of bullet train. This train with a capacity of 750 passengers will travel at speeds between 320 km per hour and 350 km per hour, and it is expected to reduce the travel time between Ahmedabad and Mumbai to 3.5 hours or less than the present 8 hours travel time. And this 508 km long Mumbai to Ahmedabad high-speed rail project will be built at the cost of 1.1 lakh crore, and it is expected to be completed by 2022. And this project is a joint venture between our Indian Railways and the Japan's Shinkansen technology. As per the agreement between India and Japan regarding this project, it has two objectives. One is localized manufacture, which is going to serve the objective of Make in India program, and the other one is transfer of technology. This will give stimulus for advanced components manufacture and construction. One of the stated objectives of the project is Make in India. It will create many lakhs of new jobs in the country. So with this kind of high-speed bullet trains, how India is going to get benefited? One, there will be a high-speed connectivity which will facilitate economic growth. Smaller cities along the way can also be connected with high-speed transit facilities to these economic centers through the bullet train network. And the other one is, just now we have seen that this is going to create lots of job opportunities for skilled as well as unskilled, because they need the construction workers who will be employed during the setup period of this Ahmedabad to Mumbai bullet train. And the next one is urban expansion. The new bullet train routes or the stations that will come up along the route will attract urban growth. Here we can see that here the train is from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. In between we had Thane, Virar, Vapi, Surat, Anand. All these are the new bullet train stations that will come up along the route, and they will attract the urban growth. This will again shift the pressure of urbanization from the existing urban centers. And this bullet train will be a symbol of strong trust between India and Japan because it involves the technology transfer at the core of this deal. It will also create substantial positive impact on the Indian economy by building the economic influence of country in Asia and all over the world. And also in the long run, this technology will reduce the dependence of India on Middle East countries for oil and other fuel products also. As this bullet train is being a clean technology, India will set up an example for cleaner methods for mass transportation, especially for other developing countries. The next article is Kartarpur corridor site plans shared with the Pakistan. This article comes under GS Paper 1 under the topic of Indian culture, that will cover salient aspects of art forms, literature and architecture from ancient to modern times. So what do we need to study from this article from the prelims point of view is we should know where is the location of this Kartarpur corridor and what is the significance of this corridor. This Kartarpur corridor is a road link that will connect India's border district of Gurdaspur with historic Gurudwara Darbar Sahib in Pakistan. Here we can see that this Gurudwara in Kartarpur, it stands on the banks of river Ravi. which is about 120 km northeast of Lahore. Why this Kartarpur is given this much of importance means it is considered as Guru Nanak's final resting place. And it was here Guru Nanak assembled a Sikh community and lived for 18 years until his death in 1539. So the Sikh community in India is demanding the government from long ago to provide access to this shrine across the border. So in the last year, the cabinet has approved the development of this corridor in order to enable smooth passage of pilgrims who were seeking to visit Pakistan's Kartarpur Sahib. So the purpose of building this Kartarpur corridor is to let the Sikh pilgrims to visit the holy shrine without any visa and to help them walk across and come back without having to secure visa. The Indian side of the corridor will start from Dera Baba Nanak in Gurdaspur district, and it will extend up to the international border between both the countries, India and Pakistan. This corridor is going to be developed by the National Highway Authority of India and it will be funded by the Union government. The next article is Government Subsidy Spent on the Rise Again. This article comes under GS paper 3 under the topic of economy. From this article, now we are going to see about two schemes. One is PAHAL scheme and the other one is Ujjwala Yojana. First, let us see about this PAHAL scheme. This scheme was initially launched as a direct benefit transfer scheme for providing LPG, liquefied petroleum gas subsidy in 2013 under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. This program was initially aimed to transfer subsidies directly to the people through their bank accounts. So by crediting subsidies directly into the bank accounts will help reduce leakages and delays. This is the reason why this direct benefit transfer component was extended in most of the government schemes. In yesterday's Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana also, the farmers will avail the benefits through this direct benefit transfer. Now we are seeing about this PAHAL scheme. This PAHAL scheme was later modified and rechristened as PAHAL, Pratyaksh Hastantrit Labh, in 2014 and it was launched in 54 districts. Later, this program has got extended nationwide on January 1st of 2015. So what are the objectives of this scheme? Under this scheme, subsidized liquefied petroleum gas cylinders are sold at market rates and the consumers will receive LPG subsidy directly into their bank accounts. This is done either through a bank account or through a Aadhaar linkage. The main aim of this scheme is to eliminate duplicate or bogus LPG connections and the diversion of these LPG cylinders in order to benefit the genuine domestic LPG cylinder users without having it diverted. So the main aim is to ensure better management of the subsidy and reduce the burden to the exchequer. And another reason for transferring the subsidy directly to the consumer's bank account is to curtail this corruption in the process and to save public money. So now if we see the details of this scheme, the consumers should link their Aadhaar number, LPG consumer number to their bank accounts. If they do not have an Aadhaar card, they can link their bank account directly with their 17-digit LPG ID. So that on joining this scheme, consumers will get cylinders at market price. They will buy it at the market price. But the subsidy that was being provided for purchasing these cylinders at market price will be directly remitted into their bank accounts by the government. The beneficiary of this subsidy is referred as cash transfer compliant. The government will provide 12 refill cylinders annually. Per year it will provide 12 cylinders at subsidized rates. So to avail this, the consumers have to fill up a form which is available with the gas distributors. And the next one is Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. Under this scheme, the LPG connections to the below poverty line households will be provided in order to ensure universal coverage of cooking gas in the country. This program is implemented by the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas in order to reduce the health hazards of indoor pollution by providing free LPG connections to the women from below poverty line households. The tagline of this scheme is Swachh Indhan Behtar Jeevan. So by providing this clean cooking fuel to the poor households, it will reduce various health hazards that were associated with indoor air pollution, and it will bring in qualitative changes in the living standards of the poor. This measure will empower the women and will protect their health. It will also reduce the time that was spent on cooking and will provide employment for the rural youth in the supply chain of cooking gas. And this is the first welfare scheme in the country launched by the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas to benefit crores of women who are belonging to the poorest households. And if we see some of the facts related to this scheme, its target is to provide 8 crore LPG connections to the poor households, and the scheme will provide free LPG connection with the financial assistance of 1600 rupees per connection to an adult woman member. It is to an adult women member, to the female of the below poverty line family, and this beneficiary will be identified through the socio-economic and caste census data. These eligible households will be identified in consultation with the state governments and the union territories. And the time period to implement this scheme has got extended from 2019 to 2020. So it will be implemented by 2020. And some of the other new changes were the cabinet has approved the proposal to expand the scheme to cover all SC, ST, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe households, beneficiaries of Antyodaya Anna Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin, and forest dwellers and most backward classes, T and X, tea garden tribes, people residing in islands and rivers, etc., in addition to the beneficiaries that were identified through socio-economic and caste census. This move will address the practical difficulty that is faced in implementing this Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, which is to target the genuinely poor households that were left out of this socio-economic caste survey list. The next article is Timely Review. This article comes under GS Paper 3 under the topic of Economy. Dear students, from this article, what is important from the prelims point of view is angel tax and what are these startups. What is the criteria to be considered as a startup? In our yesterday's video, we have already seen what is meant by a startup and what is this angel tax. Please refer to yesterday's video. Angel tax is a 30% tax that is levied on the fundings that were received by the startups from an external investor. But this 30% tax will be levied when the startups receive angel funding at a valuation higher than its fair market value, because that amount will be considered as an income to the company and that amount will be taxed. Yesterday in our video we have clearly explained what is meant by this fair market value and how this angel tax is calculated. Do refer to yesterday's video. Now let's see our today's questions. The first question is related to the angel tax and the other one is regarding the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. Try to answer these questions and post your answers in the comment box. Tomorrow we'll see a detailed explanation for these questions. And this is our Lloyd's Loans website where you can access the notes for this video, and this is our official Telegram channel where you can find this video and the notes. Thank you.